Found out my partner was leading a double life with their ex. I was scrambling eggs when I noticed his phone light up on the kitchen counter. The smell of butter and burnt toast filled the air, and sunlight streamed through the blinds in that soft, forgiving way it does on Saturday mornings. Kyle was still in bed, or so I thought. He'd been working late 4 nights that week, collapsing into sleep before we could talk. The notification preview read, "Last night was perfect. Can't wait for next week." My stomach dropped. The spatula slipped from my hand, clattering against the stove. A client? A coworker? But the contact name was saved as Melissa HR. Melissa was his ex-fiancée, the one he'd called toxic, the one he'd sworn he'd cut off 2 years ago, right after we started dating. It wasn't the first red flag. Last month, I'd found a receipt for a hotel downtown, $400 for a single night. When I'd asked, he'd laughed it off. Team bonding thing, fancy dinner, open bar, you know how corporate is. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Then there was the new cologne he'd started wearing, something musky and unfamiliar. Once I'd hugged him and caught a whiff of vanilla perfume clinging to his collar. Must have been someone on the train, he'd said, shrugging. But this? A message from Melissa. HR. My hands trembled as I tapped the screen. His passcode was still our anniversary, or so I'd assumed. It didn't work. 0704. His birthday. The chat opened. Months of messages. Photos. Dates stamped over weekends he'd claimed were work trips. There they were, hiking in Sedona, the trip he'd said was a solo mental health retreat. A selfie of them kissing at a rooftop bar, her platinum blonde hair catching the sunset exactly like it had in their engagement photos. My chest tightened. I couldn't breathe. Then I saw the dates. December 12th. The night he'd missed my mom's birthday dinner. Traffic jam on the freeway, he'd said, arriving at 10 p.m. smelling like whiskey and guilt. January 3rd. Our anniversary. He'd given me earrings and taken me to our favorite Italian spot. That same day, he'd texted her, "Wish I was with you instead." I didn't realize I was crying until tears splashed onto the screen. I stumbled to the bedroom, phone in hand. He was awake now, scrolling through emails, calm, unreadable. "Kyle," I choked out, "what the is this?" He didn't even flinch, just set down his laptop and sighed, like I'd asked him to take out the trash. "Look, I was going to tell you eventually. Melissa and I is complicated." Complicated, the word echoed in my skull. "You've been lying for months," I whispered. "You proposed to me 3 weeks ago." He ran a hand through his hair, the same nervous tick he'd had on our first date. "I love you both, okay?" I didn't know how to choose. I moved into my best friend's guest room that night. The air mattress creaked beneath me as I stared at the ceiling, replaying every hug that felt too brief, every "I'm tired" that masked a lie. My ring finger felt naked. I'd left the diamond on the kitchen counter, beside the cold eggs. 2 days later, he called. "Can we talk?" His voice was steady, almost hopeful. I hung up. Texts followed. "I'll end it with her. I'll go to therapy. You're the one I want." But then, this morning, an email notification, a forwarded hotel reservation, for tonight, under his name and hers. I'm sitting in my car outside their apartment building now. I don't know why I'm here. To scream? To see her face? To finally understand how the man who held me through panic attacks and memorized my coffee order could split his heart so cleanly in two? But there's a part of me, small and broken, that still wonders if he'll walk out alone. TLDR, caught my fiancé secretly rebuilding a life with his ex through messages and lies. Now I'm parked outside their apartment, unsure if I want answers or just pain.